What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love, with another video. Today we're going to take a look at this backlit marquee for the Miss Pac-Man Countercade by Arcade1up. Oh, it's looking like a real arcade up in here, even on the countertops. Let's get it started with this ability upgrades. So if you are like me, you like for your arcade cabinets to look authentic as possible. You want a backlit marquee on your arcade cabinets, no matter how big and no matter how small. So the Arcade1up countercades have to have a backlit marquee or it just doesn't fit into your arcade. That's the way I feel. If you feel the same way, this is going to help you get on the right track to get your device hooked up and ready. And so Angel over at This Ability Upgrades have put together this package, and this is not a packet or a kit that you can take take lightly. This takes some ingenuity. This takes some thinking. This takes some skills to get this thing together, because you can just go out and get a splitter and split it and have power go to both things, but the lights won't go off when you hit the switch. It's just you're going to have to unplug it. And who wants that? You want to be able to click that switch and it turns off both the cabinet and the marquee. So there's the new marquee there, ready to go. We had our sticker in there. We had the thank you card. Here's the LED. Can't have a backlit marquee without a light source, right? So this is the LED strip. It has a little adhesive that you can use for wire management. You have your splitter to split the power to two different sources. And we have this, what we're going to call the JST connector. This cable, it does the bulk of the work. It's going to bring the power in, bring it up to the control panel, allow that on-off switch to do its thing to be able to control the power to whatever comes after it. And what comes after it? The LED and the PCB. So that's very important. And then you're going to need these two screws to replace the two screws holding on the current marquee. So that's everything in the kit. Well thought out. So we're going to take a look at these three items here, because these are the core things. We have the LED, the splitter, and our JST connector. And so we can plug these things ahead of time. So we have the splitter. One side of the splitter is going to go into the LED. The other one is going to go in the PCB a little bit later, but we're going to get our cables ready. And so the L shape on this JST connector, that's going to go into the source. This is the input of the splitter, and the other two sides are the output, right? So we got power coming in. Power is going to come in through the other jack that's available on that JST connector. So we can set that up ahead of time. Power is going to come in here, and then it's going to feed all those other things, and then it's going to go out of here into the PSB, or the PCB, I'm sorry, the printed circuit board. All right, so here's our printed circuit board mounted to the back of the monitor. We got our power cable coming in. We can just unplug that because it's not going to power that directly. Instead, we're going to plug that right into our JST connector cable. Okay, all the power comes going in. We got to get it to the PCB, and so we take this one end of the splitter and just plug that straight in. So if we turned it on right now, nothing's going to happen because we need this. Well, it will work. but we have to unplug this JST port here and then put our JST connector in between this cable and the PCB. So both of these things are marked. They both have a little black dot on it. This one has it on the back. That's going to go right into the PCB. It's a tight fit, but it'll go in. Now that you know that's where it goes, right? So just line that thing up and just push it straight up, and it'll go right in. So now we have the other point, and it has a little black dot on the side of the JST port. Okay, so we find that dot, line it up. There it is there. We're going to line that up with, where'd that cable go? The cable that we unplugged from the PCB. We're going to locate that. There we go. And line that up with the red cable. So the black dot with the red cable. Make sure the pins all go in the right hole. We got the male portion being plugged into the female portion, and we just have to make sure the dot lines up with the red cable and that all 5 of these pins are in the appropriate ports. And that's it. We are all ready to test this thing. So we're going to find our plug that into the wall. Once we do that, then we're going to have power to this device. You see the light is on. And if we turn around, we see it's booting up. There's a logo in the menu. And so we have the power. Let's see if the switch works. Hit the switch off. It turned off both the LED and the screen. So perfect. That's what we want. Because you can plug these cables up. If you didn't know what to do, you can plug them up a lot of different ways. And every other way that you plug these things up would end in the same result. And that would be that the LEDs would not go off if you hit the switch. They would stay on until you unplug it from the wall. And nobody wants that. So Angel has hooked us up with this. All right. So now that we verified that the light works, that's all we did, that last step. And so you know what cables go where. We'll get those out the way. You don't have to do this, but you know, I just got them out the way so that I can unscrew and work with the cabinet without anything possibly getting damaged. Okay, so now we just have to have a Phillips screwdriver, and we just need to get all of these screws off. And here's the bottom line. This cabinet is well made. You're going to need to take a lot of screws out, okay, or at least loosen them. Now, the 2 on the top front that's holding that marquee in place there, this one here, you can just loosen or even take all the way out, but that's going to go back in. The 2 in the front that's holding that marquee in, this one here and the other one on the other side, those are not going to be returned. So you can put that in your extra supply kit somewhere in case you lose a screw. You're going to use the 2 included smaller screws that Angel provided with this kit into that spot. So you're going to have to take this control panel off because there's no way you can get these this back panel off, this top panel off without taking a lot of these screws out. So we're going to take off the 2 control panels. We're going to loosen up the 2 tops, remove the 2 that's holding in the marquee, and then we basically had to take almost one whole side off. I mean, that's the bottom line, or at least loosen all of the screws on one whole side. But the key to getting this thing separated enough, there's no way you can avoid unscrewing the monitor board from the side of the cabinet. So that's the next thing we have to do is 2 screws. It's easier to get to the ones on the back plate. So just screw those off, one on the bottom and then one on the top. And that's going to be the magic trick to be able to get this cabinet separated enough to access that existing marquee to remove it. So this is a little tricky to get into this thing, but it can be done. And now the thing almost just falls apart. So that's why you just have to don't screw them all the way out. just enough so you can get the separation. And there you go. That one's gone, and it's time to put the new one on. Now I want to test this light up here where I think it should go. It goes on the top of the board that holds the monitor in, but let's get the marquee in first, and then we'll test that light. So you're going to take those 2 screws that came with the kit. They're smaller, and you just have to line these holes up. It's a little tricky, you know. Just eyeball it and line up one side. You'll get the other side in. Now the original control panel had some wooden pegs that held it in at the bottom. This one does not have that. All it's going to be is held on by these 2 screws and the side panels being tightened in around it. It's going to hold it firm into place. You ain't got to worry about that thing budging. It's going to stay where you put it. Don't tighten up these screws too much because that's going to make your life a little harder. You're going to have to unscrew it like I did. Don't do that. Just screw these things just enough to hold this thing together so that you can manipulate those panels. So you want to get those the monitor mounted back on before you do anything else. At this point in time, I didn't do that, but you want to do that right after doing this light. So the LED is going to mount right there. It has this adhesive stickers on the bottom, or adhesive strips on the bottom, and so you're just going to line this up on the top of that so that the cable hangs down so you can plug it into everything else, but just make sure there's no shadow here. And that looks like that's the right spot right there with the cable on the left side if we were looking straight on. But on the right side when we're looking from the back here. So we just line that up the way we want it. Take off the little tape here and just adhere that to the top of that monitor panel. Just try and make it as even on both sides. It's a little shorter than the board, but that's no big deal. We're just trying to get it even. And there you go. That's that. Now it's time to put the cabinet back together. So again, the screws on the monitors really should have gone in right at this point here after you got this in its place. No biggie. If you have to unscrew it to line them up again, there's no big deal. I like this little ratchet screwdriver. Just makes it a lot simpler. You're not doing a whole lot. You don't want to over tighten these things, so it's not really needed. But you just want to get these screws lined up. So this piece here, you have those 2 screws that go into those little metal parts where my thumb is, and the one on the opposite side. That is what's going to hold those in place. But again, you want to get the monitor backing back on before you tighten up this board, because this board sort of swings when those screws aren't there. So I made it a boo-boo and I had to go back and correct it. But now nothing's left here but just to get this thing screwed back together. Let's power it up. And we get the LED, the backlit marquee lights up, and the unit turns on. So everything works. Let's turn it off. Both of them go off at the same time. That's what we want. So only thing left for us to do is just do a little wire maintenance. So you see there, got that done. Now it looks nice in there. And that's a done deal from that standpoint. Okay, wait, before we leave, you know we have a battery operated device. This thing doesn't plug up into the wall for us, so we got to get rid of this power cable. And so it's no big deal for those who have converted. You just unplug it from the wall. We don't need that. That's not our source of power. The battery is. So all we have to change is what cable plugs into this JST connector, right? So instead of this cable here that's coming from the door plugging into that JST connector, we just simply unplug that. That's no longer needed. We'll just tidy that up on the back of the door so that is out of the way. And we have our Velcro in place for our battery. So we simply just plug in, put our battery in, make sure it's mounted to the Velcro, that the power button is accessible from this side, and plug in the cable. Do a little wire, what you call it, cable management here, just to tidy this thing up. And so there's really no big difference. You still need a source of power. That source of power goes into the JST connector. And you're in business. This battery has well enough power to keep this thing running with the Backlit Marquee. I'm sure it's going to reduce sometime, but I haven't ran out of battery since the last time I did a video, and you guys all know how long that's been. Whenever I need to turn it on and play it, it's just available in there. And so you see with the battery, it's going to power up your Backlit Marquee as well as the arcade cabinet without any issues whatsoever. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you like this marquee, then definitely hit up Angel at This Ability. He does some great work. Easy to install, as you saw.
Looks really nice. So guys, comment below, what do you think about the marquee? What do you think about the installation? You like this video? Do you have a countercade? Anything you want to ask, go ahead and ask and share below. And please like the video. And if you are new to the channel or just haven't had the time or took the time to subscribe, please do that now. That will help us immensely. These videos take a lot of effort, a lot of time, and it doesn't cost you anything. You come by and watch. Go ahead and subscribe, man. That'll help us grow. We appreciate you. Now, you know I have this handle in the back, so you got a little bit of light coming out of that. No biggie. That looks awesome. If you're sitting playing, got that. It's not overpowering. It's just illuminated and it looks awesome. All right, guys, you know the drill. Until next time, I'll see you on the web.